Well, good afternoon, viewers. Today we have a 2014 GMC Sierra Z71 4x4. It's got a transmission problem. Apparently, customer says it blows fuse 37, which is this fuse here. That's that one right there that's missing. But I see some other hocus pocus in here too, some terminals and I don't know what that fuse is. 44. No, it's the second one down. 43. Also, there's a bunch of warning lights on the dash. Transmission's in limp mode. We've got well, the hood is open. That's got nothing to do with it. Check engine light on. Airbag, service airbag. Airbag light on. I believe it said service 4x4 as well. Service 4-wheel drive. Anyways, we're going to scan it and see what codes it has to offer and take note of any controllers that are offline. So it's automatically detected this as a 2014 GMC Sierra 1500 SLE. Got over 200,000 I think on it. Oh, my mistake, 372,000. I don't think the odometer said that much, but maybe it's in miles. Let's do a code scan of all the controllers. Transmission control module requested MIL. Okay. Ignition on, start switch circuit low voltage. That's probably because of that fuse being missing. Invalid data received from transfer case control module. Steering wheel airbag deployment loop open circuit. I see there's tape on the steering column, on the steering airbag, steering wheel airbag. So it's probably been deployed and got a bunch of problems with that. Passenger presence system, passenger seat belt tension sensor circuit. Control module power low voltage. That's interesting in the radio. Front axle engagement actuator control circuit open. Transmission control system ignition switch on, start position circuit low. What didn't we have? 4-wheel drive module? Snap-on, we need a topology map. Oh, invalid data received from the transfer case control module. Okay, well, I'm going to put a fuse in fuse 37, and then I'm going to look at the circuit and see what happens. So the customer mentioned when I was talking to him on the phone a couple days ago that it was fuse 37. Fuse 37 is that one there, and there is no fuse in that location. According to the electrical panel here, it's upfitter fuse, and there's no terminals in there, so I don't think it's fuse 37. I've tested all of the fuses that are here, and all of them test good. I didn't check the J-case fuses because they got caps on them. So I'm going to look up the schematic to figure out which fuse feeds the transmission control computer. One of the codes it has in the transmission computer is a P2534 ignition switch on, start position circuit low. And if we look at data in the transmission controller, it shows ignition voltage as 0.0 volts. So again, I'm going to look at the electrical diagram for this. So here is the electrical diagram for the transmission power and ground. Fuse box under hood, fuse 57 UA is battery power. He was telling me that the fuse would blow, the one in question would blow as soon as you put it in. And fuse 40 UA is ignition main relay. So let's check fuse 57 and 40. So fuse 57 is a 3-legged fuse, and it's good. And fuse 40 is a standard mini fuse, and it's supposed to be in right there, and it's missing. But it's one of those skinny mini fuses. Let's check if we got one. I put an inline fuse in there, and it blew instantly. Now I'm not sure if that's live all the time or if it's only live with the key on. It says, it looks like it comes from a relay. So the fuse blew right away, so there's obviously a short. So let's set it up to check for a short on the circuit. So that circuit's only powered up with the ignition on, and I think the ignition relay energized. So I'm going to turn the key on. I'm going to put a battery charger on this. So I got a clean battery charger connected to it, set at 13.6 volts, and I've wired a headlight in series in place of the fuse, and with the key on, the headlight is on bright, indicating that there's at least 3 to 4 amps of current flow. So we're going to look at this power distribution circuit for this fuse number 40 and see where it goes and what it feeds. So obviously this fuse 40, this 15 amp fuse, feeds the ignition power to the transmission control module, so that would certainly put it in limp mode. I'm surprised that actually wakes up. Well, there's another ignition on input from probably the BCM, serial data wake up. So we gotta look for power distribution circuit for fuse 40 UA. So do the keyword search for F40 UA. Let's blow this up a little bit. F40 is fed power by the ignition main relay, and that feeds the front axle engagement actuator. Interesting. That was a code for that too. And it feeds the control solenoid valve assembly. I'm pretty sure that's the transmission X1, yeah, pin 12. Well, there's a connector X111 under the hood that we could isolate it, or we could go straight to that front axle actuator and disconnect it and see if the short goes away. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go right and visually look at it. I know this truck has had an engine put in it at one time. It's had a transmission replacement at one time. Yeah, I'm going to lift it up on the hoist. So I got the truck up in the air, I got the key on, I got the headlight on because of the short, and I'm looking underneath here at the front axle actuator, which is right up here, and I don't see anything obvious, but I'm going to put that headlight where I can see it. There's a rock in here. That rock is non-conductive. There's the axle actuator. I wonder if I could unplug this. Moving the wiring and watching the headlight. I'm going to see if I can get the connector unplugged. I need two hands. So with the connector on the front axle actuator disconnected, the headlight went out. So that tells me that the axle actuator is shorted. Because I watched it as I unplugged. I managed to reach over top here and reach in and unplug it. It's unplugged right now. So I'm going to put the fuse in and see if the transmission works fine. So with that fuse installed, I've got 12.2 volts on the ignition voltage reading now at the TCM in the data. So I'm going to do a network code clear. And we're going to take it for a road test and see how the transmission shifts. There's still some airbag issues, obviously. And he's going to have to replace that front axle actuator, which doesn't look pleasant because of the electric power steering gear. Let's see if we got any codes in the engine. No codes. And let's see if we got any codes in the transmission controller. No codes. Let's take it for a road test. So that fuse 40 there is a 15 amp. I don't have any of these mini fuses, so I stole fuse 36s, which is a 15 amp for the heated mirrors. I'm sure he can get another fuse. He has a package of fuses in the truck, but they're mini fuses, not small mini fuses. Let's go for a road test. And then there's the other fuse that's compromised in there. I don't even know what that's for. Well, the transmission shifts fine. First to sixth, no problem. It's currently in fourth gear. But we still have the airbag issues. He's got some tape across the steering, the airbag here. I don't know if it's deployed. Kind of looks like it has. He's got an open deployment loop. And he's still got the four-wheel drive issue with his front axle actuator. But the transmission concern is resolved. Again, he's got to put a new fuse in fuse 36 to replace the heated mirror fuse. That's important because winter is coming. I'm not sure if the front axle is engaged right now or not. It could be. I might try it in four-wheel drive to see if it maybe it won't even switch to four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive shift in process. I'm not sure if it went into four-wheel drive or not, because that axle actuator could be locked already, which would allow it to have four-wheel drive. Let's see what it feels like when you're turning sharp on this pavement here. Oh, definitely it's in four-wheel drive. You can feel it binding up like crazy. So the axle actuator is in four-wheel drive. I put it back into 2 high. And then we'll make another U-turn in a sec. Okay, so I'm going to try another sharp turn on pavement. Now it's see if the four-wheel drive is still engaged. No, it's not. You can tell by the fact that it's not binding up. So the four-wheel drive is actually going to work. It's just the front axle is locked all the time, which might have a negative impact on fuel economy. But I'll let him change the axle actuator. I'm sure he's capable of that. He does most of his own repairs. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.